Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
Buffalo. Bills Mafia. We need to talk. Because buried inside this roster, hiding behind the names you already scream at your TV every Sunday, there are 5 players who could be the difference between another gut punch January and a confetti-soaked parade down Delaware Avenue. 5 players who, if they show up and stay healthy, could be the reason 2027 is the year Buffalo finally gets over the hump. Training camp is closing in, the wait is almost over, and today we're breaking down the exact players who could turn this Bills team from so close into Super Bowl champions. Grab a coffee, grab a buffalo chicken dip, because this one's a doozy. Let's start with a guy who might be the single most important X factor on the entire roster, Dalton Kincaid. Here's the thing about Kincaid. When healthy, this man is an absolute problem for opposing defenses. The issue has never been talent, it's been his knee. After a couple of seasons where that knee was banged up more than a Buffalo pothole in February, Kincaid finally got it cleaned up this offseason. No major surgery, no long recovery timeline, just some maintenance work. And by all accounts, he's trending toward a full go for 2026. There is chatter that the coaching staff might be smart about his practice reps, easing him along so he's not overworked in July heat. But here's the deal. Bills Mafia, that's fine in practice. On Sundays in the regular season, Kincaid needs to be out there. No load management when the lights come on. Because the numbers when he's on the field versus off the field are not just a little different, they're night and day. Think about it like this. Without Kincaid last season, the Bills' passing attack looked like a car running on 3 cylinders. A completion percentage hovering in the mid-60s, barely cracking 900 yards through 5 games, which works out to less than 200 yards a game. The touchdown-to-interception ratio was basically even, quarterback rating stuck in the low 90s, and the record in those games was a shaky 2-3. Now flip it. With Kincaid trotting out onto the field, that completion percentage jumps into the low 70s, the offense piles up nearly 2,700 yards, averaging well over 200 a game. The touchdown-to-interception ratio explodes to a lopsided 18-5, the quarterback rating rockets past 110, and the record flips to a dominant 10-2. That is not a coincidence. That is a tight end changing the entire complexion of an offense. And when you dig into the advanced metrics for tight ends across the entire league last season, Kincaid isn't just good. He's at the very top of the mountain. First in yards per route run among tight ends. First in targets per route run. First in yards per target. First in first downs per route run. Top 10 in yards after catch per reception. This man is a matchup nightmare who can shred defenses over the middle, get behind linebackers, and turn a simple check down into a chunk play. And get this, when Josh Allen targets him, Kincaid posts the single highest quarterback rating of any tight end in football when targeted. A number that isn't just good, it's borderline video game absurd. Everything, and we mean everything, hinges on keeping this guy on the field. If Dalton Kincaid plays 17 games in 2026, Buffalo's passing offense could be the scariest unit in the entire NFL. Next up, and this one might surprise some of you casual fans, but it shouldn't surprise anybody who's actually watched the tape, Deone Walker, the young defensive tackle who is about to take over as Buffalo's starting nose tackle. Walker was a total steal when Buffalo scooped him up early in the 4th round of the draft and by the middle of his rookie season. He had already forced his way into the starting lineup, especially once Ed Oliver went down for a stretch. Getting thrown into the fire as a rookie can break some guys. Walker didn't blink. He looked like a grizzled veteran holding the point of attack, finishing his rookie year with 39 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, a sack, and 4 batted passes at the line of scrimmage across 17 games played. But here's the stat that should make every Bills fan sit up straight. Walker stuffed opposing running backs for a loss or no gain on over 6% of the rushes he faced. the second highest rate among all defensive tackles in the league last season, and the best mark by a rookie defensive tackle in nearly a decade. As a rookie. Think about that. And as a pass rusher, he was already drawing double teams at one of the highest rates in football among tackles with significant pass rush snaps. That means offensive coordinators were already scared enough of a rookie to dedicate 2 blockers to him. Now add another year of development, a full offseason in the system, and reinforcements around him like Bradley Chubb returning to the edge. Hopefully a fully healthy Ed Oliver, growth from the young pieces up front, and a new defensive mastermind in Jim Leonhard calling the shots. Leonhard's specialty has always been unlocking front sevens, and if he gets Deone Walker flying downhill the way he's capable of, opposing offensive lines across the AFC are going to have some very long Sundays. We've got 3 more names to get to, so buckle up, Bills Mafia, because it's about to get spicy. Name number 3, rookie linebacker Caleb Ellerbe. And this is a name you need to burn into your memory right now because he might be starting a lot sooner than anyone expected. Buffalo's linebacker room took a real hit this offseason, and there are legitimate question marks at the position. Especially with Dorian Williams banged up for most of this offseason program and barely able to participate in OTAs. That's opened the door, and Caleb Ellerbe has kicked it wide open, running with the starters for much of the spring. Beyond Williams, the depth chart gets murky fast. There's a special teamer trying to prove he belongs on defense, and a couple of names who spent most of last season on the practice squad. In other words, Buffalo needs Ellerbe to be as good as the tape suggested. Coming out of TCU, Ellerbe had a reputation as a downhill run stuffer with a question mark in coverage, which is likely why he fell as far as he did in the draft despite absurd college production and off-the-charts combined testing numbers. Nobody in the building can quite explain why he slid so far. But early reports from camp are glowing. He's been making plays over the middle of the field, showing off coverage instincts that scouts doubted he had, and he's shown zero hesitation stepping into a leadership role, even calling checks in the huddle as a rookie. Head coach Joe Brady has talked about the swagger and juice this kid brings, joking that Ellerbe once snapped at a teammate mid-huddle without even realizing it was his own head coach standing right next to him. That's the kind of fearless, competitive edge you want in the middle of your defense. Defensive coordinator Jim Leonhard has praised his natural instincts and efficient movement, saying the kid just has a feel for the game that can't be taught. Add in elite physical tools, real power in his hands, and the willingness to strike blockers, and you've got a potential difference maker who could lock down the off-ball linebacker spot next to Terrell Bernard for years to come. Buffalo, sound off in the comments. Are you rolling with the steady, experienced Dorian Williams? Or is it Caleb Ellerbe season? Let us know. 4th on our list, and honestly, this one should be circled, highlighted, and put on a magnet on your fridge, DJ Moore. Here is the wild, almost criminal truth about DJ Moore's career. At 29 years old, he is about to receive, without exaggeration, the best quarterback play of his entire NFL life. And it's not particularly close. Across roughly 8 or 9 NFL seasons, Moore has arguably caught passes from one of the worst run of quarterbacks any receiver has ever had to deal with. We're talking about the tail end of the Cam Newton era after the injuries piled up, journeyman arms in Carolina, Justin Fields and Tyson Bagent in Chicago, and a rookie Caleb Williams still finding his footing. Through all of that, Moore still managed to be a productive, dangerous receiver. Now imagine what he can do throwing off a legitimate MVP-caliber arm in Josh Allen. Yes, last season in Chicago, the target share wasn't always there for him under a new coaching staff that had a lot of mouths to feed, but he still came up huge in big moments when the ball found him. And rewind back to his final stretch in Carolina under current Bills offensive coordinator Joe Brady, and you'll find some of the most consistent, efficient stretches of his entire career. Brady knows exactly how to use him, how to scheme him open, and how to get the ball into his hands in space. Josh Allen has already been raving about how smooth Moore moves on the field, calling him one of the silkiest route runners he's ever lined up with. That combination elite quarterback play for the first time in his career paired with a play caller who's already had success unlocking him should terrify opposing secondaries. If you're building a fantasy roster this year, Bills Mafia, do yourself a favor and lock DJ Moore in. You will not regret it. And finally, our fifth and final name, rookie cornerback Maxwell Hairston. There's a legitimate battle brewing at cornerback in Buffalo, and it starts with a young man who barely got to show what he could do last season. Hairston came in as a first-round pick, got hurt almost immediately, and missed the first 7 games of his rookie year. He returned for the final 10 games, showed real flashes, and then got banged up again in the season finale, costing him the entire postseason. That absence at cornerback was glaring enough that Buffalo went out this past draft and addressed the position again. Adding Davis Igbinosun in the second round, a young corner who profiles as a fiery competitor capable of contributing early. But make no mistake, the starting job still runs through Maxwell Hairston. And here's why that should excite you. Hairston ran one of the fastest 40-yard dash times of any player at his combine, clocking in at an eye-popping 4.28 seconds. That kind of speed lets him run stride for stride with the fastest receivers in the entire league. There was a moment recently where he got beat over the top on a deep route which raised a few eyebrows, especially since the receiver involved isn't even known as a burner, but the coaching staff has continued to rave about his top-end speed. When he was healthy last season, Hairston picked off a couple of passes and largely held up in coverage without giving up a ton of explosive plays. In fact, there's a real argument that if Hairston had been healthy for Buffalo's divisional round matchup against Denver, the outcome of that game could have been completely different. That's how significant this kid's presence or absence can be. Now Buffalo just needs a full, healthy season out of him to find out exactly how good he can become. So there it is, Bills Mafia. 5 names, 5 X factors, 5 players who could be the exact difference between another heartbreaking finish and finally hoisting that Lombardi Trophy at Super Bowl 61. A healthy Dalton Kincaid turning the passing game into a nightmare. A rising star in Deone Walker anchoring the defensive front. A fearless rookie in Caleb Ellarby taking over the middle of the defense. A resurgent DJ Moore finally getting the quarterback play he's deserved his entire career. And a healthy, blazing fast Maxwell Hairston locking down the secondary. Put it all together, and this roster has every single ingredient needed to finally break through. Now it's your turn, Buffalo. Drop a comment and tell us which one of these 5 players you think has the biggest breakout season coming. Get creative down there. We want to hear it. And if this video got you even a little more fired up for the season, do us a favor, smash that like button, drop a comment with your prediction. And make sure you're subscribed to the Bills Report so you never miss a breakdown all offseason long. Training camp is right around the corner, the season is almost here, and we'll be right here with you every step of the way. Let's go, Buffalo.
Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.